You know, people talk a lot about seniors being lonely, but what if I told you some of us actually prefer it that way? And not because we're sad or bitter, but because we're wired differently. Today, I'm sharing 6 distinct personality traits that set seniors like us apart, the ones who enjoy solitude and find peace in their own company. And listen closely. If you relate to these, it's not a flaw. It's a sign of strength most people will never understand. You'll want to stay until the end, because number 6? It might just explain why you've always felt different, even in a crowded room. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. Do you love your alone time? Or do you still crave company? All right, let's begin. Trait 1, deep thinkers. Now, let me tell you something I've learned over the years. Seniors who enjoy solitude, we aren't simple-minded or easily entertained. No, we are what you call deep thinkers. We don't find joy in the small talk or gossip that seems to fill so many rooms these days. You know the kind, people rambling on about what the neighbors did or what their cousin's daughter's friend posted on the internet. That kind of chatter? It drains us. It always has. Instead, we're the ones who sit quietly and reflect. Our minds wander through memories, through old regrets, through lessons we've learned the hard way. We think about life, loss, purpose, and sometimes we even think about death, not in a sad way, but in a curious way. Wondering what it all means. Wondering what comes next. We've reached a point where the surface-level things no longer matter. The latest celebrity scandal? The newest fashion trend? None of that excites us anymore. What excites us is meaning, depth, real conversations that leave us thinking long after they're over. And because we're deep thinkers, we often find that it's only in solitude that we can truly hear ourselves. Have you ever noticed that? When the world goes quiet, that's when the best thoughts come. I've spent many afternoons sitting by my window, cup of tea in hand, just staring out and thinking. Sometimes about my childhood, sometimes about people I've loved and lost, and sometimes I just sit and think about how incredible it is to have made it this far. People often mistake our silence for sadness, but what they don't understand is that we're not sad. We're just comfortable in the quiet, comfortable in our thoughts, and that is a gift few people ever get to experience. Trait 2, fiercely independent. Now, this one right here. It's something I've earned, and I wear it like a badge of honor. Seniors who love being alone? We are some of the most fiercely independent souls you'll ever meet. And let me tell you why. See, when you've lived long enough, when you've raised children, buried parents, worked jobs, fought battles no one even knows about, you learn real quick that relying on others can only get you so far. People come and go. Loved ones move away, friends pass on, sometimes even the people you thought would be there forever. Well, life has other plans, and through it all, we've learned how to stand on our own 2 feet, not because we wanted to, but because we had to. And you know what? We're stronger for it. We've gotten used to doing things alone, eating alone, shopping alone, handling the bills, fixing the little things around the house. Even when our hands ache or our backs hurt, we figure it out. Because there's a certain pride that comes with knowing you can survive on your own. And truthfully, we don't see being alone as a burden. We see it as freedom. Freedom to wake up when we want, eat what we want, watch what we want on TV without someone arguing about the channel. Freedom to spend the day exactly how we choose. We're not sitting around waiting for someone to entertain us or hold our hand. We know how to enjoy our own company. And that, my dear, is one of the most powerful things a person can learn in this life. It doesn't mean we don't love or care for others. It just means we've built a life where their presence is a joy, not a necessity. And trust me, there's a world of difference between the two. Trait 3, emotionally self-sufficient. Now this one. This is something only time and experience can teach you. Seniors who love being alone, We've reached a place of emotional self-sufficiency, and let me tell you, it changes everything. There comes a point in life when you realize that waiting on others to make you happy is a losing game. You wait for the calls that don't come, the visits that get delayed, the words you need to hear but never do. And after a while, you stop waiting. Not because you've given up, but because you've learned the most important lesson of all. Happiness is an inside job. We don't sit around anymore needing someone to tell us we're loved or valued. We already know our worth. We've fought too hard, survived too much, and lived through things that would break most people. Sure, it's nice when someone remembers us, when the grandkids call or a friend drops by, but do we need it to feel whole? No. Because we've learned how to give ourselves what others can't. We know how to comfort ourselves on the hard days. We know how to celebrate our wins, even if no one else notices. We know how to sit quietly with our own thoughts and not feel lonely, but feel peaceful. You see, emotional self-sufficiency means you don't depend on anyone else to tell you that you matter. You know it in your bones. And let me tell you, when you get to that place, it's powerful. You stop chasing people. You stop needing their approval. You stop bending over backward just to feel loved. Because you've finally learned you are enough, all by yourself. Trait 4, highly observant and intuitive. Now, let me tell you something most folks overlook. Seniors who enjoy their solitude. We see things other people miss. And it's not because we're nosy. Oh no, it's because we're highly observant and intuitive. You spend enough time sitting quietly, watching the world, watching people. You start to pick up on things. The way someone forces a smile, but their eyes give them away. How two people speak without saying a word. The tension in a room that most folks are too busy yapping to notice. See, when you're always surrounded by noise and distractions, you miss the little things. But us, we catch it all. The subtle shifts in people's voices, the sigh someone tries to hide, the way their hands fidget when they're nervous. Some people call it being a good judge of character. I call it wisdom earned through years of paying attention. And the funny thing is, people underestimate us. They think because we're quiet, we're not paying attention. But oh, if only they knew. We see more in 5 minutes of silence than some folks see in an entire lifetime of talking. It's why we're so careful about who we let into our world. We've learned to trust that little gut feeling, that tiny whisper that says, something's off here. We don't ignore red flags anymore. We don't make excuses for people's bad behavior. Because when you've lived long enough, you learn. Energy doesn't lie. And if someone's energy feels wrong, we trust it. Every single time. That's the gift of solitude. It sharpens your intuition. And once you have that, you start to see the world and people for what they truly are. Trait 5, contentment in simplicity. Now this is one of the greatest blessings that comes with age. Seniors who like being alone, we've discovered the secret so many young folks are still out there chasing, and it's called contentment in simplicity. You know, there was a time when I thought happiness came from big things, new houses, fancy cars, expensive vacations. But life has a way of teaching you. All that glitters isn't gold. These days, give me a sunny morning, a cup of coffee, and my garden. That's it. That's all I need to feel rich. We don't crave the spotlight anymore. We don't need a dozen people around us or a calendar full of plans. In fact, we prefer it when things are simple, quiet, predictable. There's comfort in the little routines, making your bed, watering your plants, sitting down with a good book. We've learned that peace is the real luxury. And the things that bring us peace, they don't cost a dime. You won't find us scrolling for hours on social media or chasing after the next trend. No, we've outgrown all that. Instead, we find joy in the smallest moments, a bird singing outside the window, a cool breeze on a hot day, the smell of cookies baking in the oven. And because we've slowed down enough to notice these things, We're happier than most people running around out there chasing happiness like it's some prize at the end of a race. Truth is, we've already won. Because we know now. Happiness was never out there. It was always in the simple things. Right here. Right now. Trait 6. Strong personal boundaries. And finally, this one right here might just be the most important trait of all. Seniors who enjoy being alone? We've mastered the art of having strong personal boundaries. And let me tell you, it took us a lifetime to get here. You see, when we were younger, we said yes far too often. We stretched ourselves thin trying to please everyone, family, friends, neighbors, even strangers. We worried about being liked, about being seen as the nice one. But now, we know better. We know that saying yes when we really mean no is a one-way ticket to resentment, stress, and burnout. And we're too old for all that nonsense. Now, we protect our peace like it's the most precious thing we own. Because it is. If a phone call drains us, we don't answer. If someone invites us somewhere we don't want to be, we politely decline. If a conversation turns toxic, we walk away, without guilt, without explanation. We've learned that we don't owe anyone our time, our energy, or our presence, especially if it costs us our peace. And the best part? We're not afraid to be misunderstood. We're not here to explain ourselves to people who haven't walked a mile in our shoes. Let them think what they want. We know what we've survived. We know what it took to become the women we are today. And if protecting that means fewer people in our lives, so be it. Because at the end of the day, we've learned that we'd rather be alone in peace than surrounded by people who make us feel lonely. So, my dear, if these traits sound like you, don't ever let anyone make you feel like there's something wrong with preferring your own company. Because the truth is, being content alone is one of the rarest superpowers a person can have. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos just like this. And if you'd love more stories, tips, and insights for living your best life as a senior woman, be sure to sign up for my Savvy Senior newsletter. The link is down below. I share things there I don't post anywhere else, and I'd love to have you. Until next time, take care of yourself, and don't be afraid to enjoy the quiet. It's where